After 15 months of war and painstaking negotiations, Israel and Hamas are finalizing a ceasefire-hostage deal.
Tonight, Israel's president weighing in, saying this is the right and necessary move. Mediators confirm both sides have agreed to pause the fighting, raising hopes for an end to the bloodshed that has ripped families apart and scarred the region. We're learning more about the emerging deal tonight. It comes in three phases, as reported yesterday. The first is 6 weeks long. 33 hostages will be returned to their families, although it is still unclear how many are alive. In exchange, Israel would release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners, including some convicted of killing Israelis. The IDF would also pull back from population centers to allow displaced Palestinians to return to their homes and receive an influx of aid. Next comes the phase 2, the most difficult. It includes the release of all remaining hostages and the IDF's withdrawal from Gaza. The third phase calls for the start of major reconstruction inside the Strip. Earlier today, President Biden applauded the news.
And I'm proud to say Americans will be part of that hostage release in phase 1 as well. And the Vice President and I cannot wait to welcome them home.
Israel's Security Cabinet is set to convene tomorrow to officially approve the deal. Then it goes to the wider government before a 48-hour window for legal objections before the first phase is implemented.
For more, let's bring in Jonathan Conricus, a former IDF spokesman and senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Jonathan, welcome. So what's your initial reaction to this agreement?
Hello, and thank you for having me on. I am happy for some of the families, some of the Israeli families who, after more than 470 days of hell on earth, maybe they will see their loved ones. Unfortunately, it's not going to be all of the Israeli families, according to this deal. According to the deal, many of the men, the soldiers and non-soldiers, are not on the list of coming back, and that is going to be excruciating for those families. The positive side is that some hostages will come home, hopefully. We still don't know who's alive and who isn't. And unfortunately, there are a lot of negatives. Strategically speaking, this isn't a good deal because Hamas remains in power. And both for those who care about Israel and for those who care about Palestinians, that is not a good thing because Hamas in power means more war, more terror, more instability, more suffering in Gaza. And it means that we're kicking the can down the road and we're not really solving the problem. Solving the problem means defeating Hamas, means Hamas not having a stake in the future of the Gaza Strip, and that is not what this deal brings. So the way I choose to see the situation is that it is a milestone. I will be very happy to see brothers and sisters come back home to their families, but this isn't the end of the story. This is not peace in the Middle East. This is a milestone. And I hope that in the near future, Israel will be able to achieve full and clear victory over Hamas and not just a ceasefire.
Jonathan, according to an Israeli daily newspaper poll, 88% of Israelis favored a prisoner exchange. How much do you think political headwinds factored into Prime Minister Netanyahu's agreeing to this deal?
I think, those numbers have been very steady. And the Israeli public, out of obvious, emotional reasons, emotional and moral reasons, myself included, have been supporting such a deal. And that hasn't really fluctuated. What I think has fluctuated and changed, the big change, is that President Trump made it clear, incoming President Trump made it clear that he wants a deal done. And the black box or the X factor that we're not really sure what kind of effect incoming President Trump had, I think is on two countries, on Qatar and on Egypt. Because, Israel approved this deal, which was basically presented by the Biden administration with minor detail changes already in May. And Israel hasn't moved from that approval. We've wanted to bring back our people for a long time. And now Hamas reportedly is agreeing. And what I don't know, what really happened is what kind of pressure did Trump's team apply on Qatar and on Egypt to make Hamas agree to this deal? Because the deal hasn't changed significantly, and neither, unfortunately, has the situation on the battlefield. So
Right.
we will, I think, learn that in the coming days, what happened behind the scenes. And I think that this deal is
All right.
much thanks to American diplomacy of the previous administration and the incoming one.
Both administrations saying they're speaking with one voice. Jonathan Conricus with FDD. Thank you so much for your time, Jonathan.
Thank you.